Thursday again. Yeah, so happy it's Thursday, right? People often ask, what's it like living on Bitcoin? To which the answer is, it's what you make of it, right? There are an increasing number of vendors that sell all kinds of things that make it possible to do that. And you can certainly live a Bitcoin life if you make the effort. At this point, there are more than enough vendors for all kinds of day-to-day expenses you might happen to purchase from, whether it's your daily goods and services or longer term investments like cars or houses or boats. But obviously, still relatively limited compared to the fiat world. And then people ask me, what's it like living on Bitcoin during wartime? In a war zone, relatively, right? To which the answer is, well, it's really no different than living anywhere else where you happen to be able to use Bitcoin. The only difference is that in places where there is a war, people do tend to appreciate the power of Bitcoin a little bit more than in places that are considered relatively more stable and using fiat. But I can tell you in Israel, the fiat currency is still relatively stable compared to what it was uh, before the war started, before October 7th, 2023. 3.7, 3.8 shekels to the dollar is more or less what it was before the war began. There was a brief period right after the war began when the shekel went down to around shekels to the dollar or so. That period lasted for, I forget, a couple of days or a couple of weeks, definitely not more than a month before it started to come back down again. And yeah, whatever. If you're earning dollars and you're living in Israel, then great, wonderful. It was a nice little bump for the month, but it certainly wasn't, some massive explosion in value. And generally speaking, the Bitcoin rate for the dollar and for the shekel is relatively, on par, proportional to the shekel value versus the dollar value of the Bitcoin. So, can you live in Israel on Bitcoin? Absolutely, you can. Are there Bitcoin ATMs or Bitcoin tellers, or Bitcoin exchanges where you can locally exchange Bitcoin into the local currency? Definitely there are. Is it an easy process? Relatively, yeah. It's just as easy as anywhere else where you might use that kind of a service if you want to convert Bitcoin into cash. Of course, if you have access to various credit that let you put your Bitcoin right on there, like from Crypto.com or Coinbase or anywhere else like that, Bybit, then you can, of course, just have your crypto get automatically swapped into the local currency, the shekel. And that makes it obviously even easier because you can just make purchases at the store with a debit card or credit card that automatically converts your Bitcoin or any other crypto into the local currency. The exchange rate fees, of course, depend on the card, and the service fees depend on the card, and other fees depend on whoever's providing the card. Whether it's cheaper to use a Bitcoin ATM or Bitcoin cash exchange location, or whether it's cheaper to just use your card directly, really depends on the card you have, what cards you have, or the agent you're going to, or the ATM you're using. So be aware of that. And do the numbers, do the math, see what works best for you. But yeah, that's generally the quick update for you. I will talk with you guys again in a bit. Talk to you soon. Cheers.